In the 1960s, when families gathered at parks and backyards across America, they didn't just bring food, they brought traditions, stories, and recipes that could feed a crowd without breaking the bank. These weren't just meals, they were survival strategies disguised as delicious comfort food. Today, we're stepping back in time to rediscover 25 forgotten picnic recipes that helped families stretch their dollars while bringing everyone together around the checkered blanket. Ambrosia sunshine salad. Long before fancy fruit platters and expensive berry bowls became the norm, ambrosia sunshine salad reigned supreme at family picnics across America. This bright, sweet concoction combined canned mandarin oranges, pineapple chunks, miniature marshmallows, and shredded coconut, all held together with a cloud of Cool Whip, a revolutionary new product that hit shelves in 1966. What made this salad so practical for hardworking families was its affordability and staying power. Every ingredient came from the pantry or lasted for days in the refrigerator, perfect for families who couldn't afford to waste a single morsel. The marshmallows and coconut stretched the fruit, making a little go further to feed more mouths. Mothers would prepare it the night before, letting the flavors meld together in the refrigerator while they tackled 1,000 other tasks. When picnic time came, this salad stood up to the summer heat far better than mayonnaise-based alternatives, giving families one less worry on a day meant for relaxation. Children delighted in its sweet flavor, while parents appreciated how it could be stretched to serve unexpected guests, a common occurrence at community gatherings. But as fresh fruit became more accessible year-round and health concerns about processed foods grew, this beloved sunshine bowl gradually disappeared from our collective gatherings. Miracle Whip deviled eggs. Before protein bars and fancy appetizers, Miracle Whip deviled eggs were the protein-packed starter that stretched precious eggs to feed multiple mouths. In a decade when feeding an entire family on a tight budget wasn't just desirable but essential, these savory bites were nothing short of economic genius. The secret wasn't just in the distinctive tang of Miracle Whip, which was significantly cheaper than mayonnaise, but in how the filling could be fluffed up with a little extra seasoning, making 6 eggs serve a dozen people. Paprika wasn't just for color, it was camouflage for a filling that had been stretched to its limits. Homemakers became experts at boiling eggs to perfection, knowing that rubbery whites or gray-ringed yolks would betray any cutting of corners. They'd pack these protein-rich morsels in specialized plastic containers, prized possessions passed down and borrowed between neighbors for special occasions. These weren't just appetizers, they were edible insurance policies. If the main dish ran short or the weather cut, the picnic short, everyone had at least had something substantial. As convenience foods gained popularity and family sizes shrunk in the following decades, the meticulous art of deviled egg preparation began to fade, taking with it one of the most economical ways to start a family gathering: pineapple cheese casserole. The 1960s was an era when unlikely combinations created some of the most memorable dishes, and pineapple cheese casserole stood proudly among them. This strange-sounding mix of canned pineapple chunks, sharp cheddar cheese, and buttery Ritz cracker topping was the epitome of picnic innovation, transforming affordable ingredients into something that felt special. Born in the southern states, this casserole spread across America as families looked for ways to create memorable dishes without expensive ingredients. What made it perfect for picnics was its versatility. Warm or room temperature, it satisfied as either a side dish or dessert, eliminating the need for multiple recipes. The genius was in its construction. The sweet acid of pineapple cut through the richness of the cheese, while the Ritz crackers, themselves an affordable luxury, provided a buttery texture that elevated the humble ingredients beneath. Families struggling to put food on the table found that this dish could turn pantry staples into something guests would request by name. As American palates evolved toward more distinct sweet and savory categories, this beautiful culinary contradiction began disappearing from gatherings. Modern potlucks rarely feature such boundary-crossing dishes, but those who remember the original still speak of it with genuine affection, not just for its unique flavor, but for how it stretched precious resources while making everyone feel. Ribbon sandwiches. In a decade when appearances mattered deeply but budgets were often tight, ribbon sandwiches were the picnic equivalent of haute couture created from remnants. These multi-layered, crustless creations featured alternating slices of white and wheat bread with different spreads between each layer, creating a visual feast that disguised their economic practicality. The genius was in their construction. Bread ends and broken slices unusable for regular sandwiches found purpose here, pressed firmly between layers of affordable spreads, often made from bits of leftover meats or vegetables mixed with cream cheese. Everything had purpose. Nothing was wasted. The removal of crusts wasn't just for aesthetics. Those trimmings became breadcrumbs for future meals. These colorful creations were typically prepared a day ahead and weighted down overnight, allowing the flavors to meld while creating a firm texture that could be sliced into elegant fingers. Each sandwich served multiple people with modest portions that somehow felt more satisfying than a single, larger sandwich, a psychological trick that helped stretch the family food budget. As packaged lunch meats became more affordable and family schedules more hectic, the time required for this meticulous assembly began to seem impractical. The skill of transforming humble ingredients into something special through technique rather than expense gradually disappeared from our collective knowledge, taking with it a powerful strategy for feeding families both physically and emotionally. Porcupine. Meatballs. When meat prices strained family budgets, porcupine meatballs offered an ingenious solution that never felt like a compromise. These family favorites combined ground beef with uncooked rice, which absorbed moisture and expanded during cooking, creating hearty meatballs that served many from small amounts of precious protein, named for the way the rice grains poked through the meat as they cooked, resembling a porcupine's quills. These meatballs were simmered in tomato sauce until tender. The sauce wasn't just for flavor, it provided essential moisture for the rice while stretching the dish even further with affordable canned tomatoes. For picnics, these were ideal make-ahead fare, often prepared the previous day and reheated before packing, allowing the flavors to develop while the family focused on other preparations. Their popularity with children made them especially valuable. There were no battles over getting kids to clean their plates. The real magic happened in the serving. Ladled into bowls with plenty of sauce and perhaps a slice of bread for sopping, each person felt they'd received a generous portion despite the careful rationing of meat. In homes where every penny mattered, this meal delivered satisfaction without revealing the economic calculations behind it. As convenience foods proliferated and two-income households had less time for simmering, these resourceful meatballs gradually disappeared from family gatherings. The knowledge of how to make protein stretch without sacrificing enjoyment began to fade from our collective cookbook. Frosted sandwich loaf. For special picnic occasions when families wanted to impress without breaking the bank, the frosted sandwich loaf delivered theatrical impact from humble ingredients. This showstopper began with an ordinary unsliced sandwich loaf transformed through technique into something extraordinary. The preparation was a testament to resourcefulness. The bread was sliced horizontally rather than vertically, creating large rectangular layers. Between each layer went different spreadable fillings, often made from bits of leftover meat, vegetables, or eggs, mixed with cream cheese to create abundance from scarcity. The entire creation was then frosted with seasoned cream cheese, creating the illusion of a cake. What made this perfect for gatherings was its make-ahead nature and impressive yield. A single loaf could serve 12 to 16 people with elegantly thin slices that somehow felt more satisfying than ordinary sandwiches. Decorations of radish roses, olive slices, or parsley sprigs added flourish without significant expense. Families who struggled to participate equally in community gathering found that this creation brought compliments and recipe requests, never revealing that its origins lay in budget stretching. As pre-made deli platters became more accessible and social expectations shifted, this labor-intensive centerpiece began disappearing from our gatherings, along with the skills required to transform ordinary ingredients into something special. Bean bundles. When meat was too expensive to serve as the main protein but a filling dish was needed, bean bundles stepped in to save countless picnics. These ingenious parcels wrapped green beans and a small amount of bacon in a bread dough, creating handheld packages that satisfied hunger while stretching precious bacon beyond what seemed possible. The economics were impressive. Just 2 or 3 slices of bacon crumbled and mixed with the beans imparted smoky flavor throughout the bundle. The bread dough, made from inexpensive flour and yeast, provided filling carbohydrates, while the green beans added nutrition and bulk. Together, they created a complete meal in a portable form. What made these perfect for gatherings was their self-contained nature. No plates or utensils were required, essential considerations for families who might not have enough to go around. They could be eaten warm or at room temperature, and the bread casing helped retain moisture in the filling even after hours on the picnic table. As convenience foods proliferated and meat became more affordable, the need for such resourceful stretching of protein diminished. The knowledge of how to create satisfying meals with minimal animal protein gradually disappeared from our collective skill set, taking with it strategies that had helped families navigate economic challenges without compromising nutrition. Cold, fried chicken. No 1960s picnic repertoire was complete without cold fried chicken, not just as a delicious main dish, but as an exercise in household economics. In an era when chicken was still relatively expensive compared to other proteins, the preparation and serving of this picnic classic involved careful calculations that modern cooks rarely consider. Unlike today's practice of using only specific parts, a 1960s chicken for frying was always a whole bird cut up at home to maximize yield. Every part found purpose, even the back and neck went into stock for future meals. The coating wasn't just for flavor. The flour, often seasoned with paprika as much for color as taste, created an impression of volume that made modest portions more satisfying. What made cold fried chicken perfect for picnics was its improved flavor after chilling. The seasonings mellowed and penetrated the meat more thoroughly. This wasn't just culinary preference, but practical advantage, allowing preparation the previous day when household energy demands were lower. For families where meat appeared on the table less frequently than they might wish, cold fried chicken at a picnic represented both treat and strategy, a way to serve protein that felt generous while actually controlling portions through careful cutting and arrangement in the basket. As pre-cooked options became widely available and food preparation skills declined, the economic calculations and resource management behind this classic began to fade from our collective knowledge. Checkerboard sandwiches. When appearances mattered but budgets were tight, checkerboard sandwiches offered a solution that transformed humble ingredients into visual art. These labor-intensive creations combined white and dark bread, sliced and reassembled into patterns that made simple fillings seem special. The ingenuity wasn't just visual, it was deeply practical. The precise cutting and reassembling meant that less filling was needed between layers, stretching precious ingredients like meat spreads or cheese further than conventional sandwiches would allow. The geometric patterns naturally created smaller portions that still felt satisfying through their visual interest. For families struggling to participate equally in community gatherings, these distinctive sandwiches brought admiration and conversation, never revealing the economic necessity behind their creation. Children who might have complained about plain sandwiches eagerly accepted these architectural marvels, not realizing they were consuming less filling in the process. As pre-made options became more affordable and leisure time more valuable than food savings, the skills required for this type of transformation began to disappear. Modern gatherings rarely feature such labor-intensive presentations, but those who remember them recall not just their appearance, but how they represented care and creativity despite limited resources. The 1960s picnic wasn't just about food, it was about survival strategies disguised as delicious tradition. These forgotten recipes remind us of a time when families created abundance from scarcity, dignity from necessity, and community despite constraints. Perhaps in today's challenging economic climate, these resourceful approaches deserve a second look, not just for their nostalgia, but for their practical wisdom. If you enjoyed this journey through America's picnic past, please like and subscribe to our channel for more forgotten food histories. Each recipe tells a story not just about food, but about how families navigated challenges while keeping tradition and togetherness at the heart of the table. Let us know in the comments which of these forgotten classics you remember or might want to try.